What is going on, guys? Pat Damiano here, and today we're going to be talking about why, if you're in your 40s or even your 30s, you need to stop training like you're 21. This is a tale as old as time, and look, I get it. You still want to be that guy. So do I. But I'm sorry, you're just not. And I say that because none of us are. When you were 21, you could smash yourself with heavy deadlifts. You could go for long runs. You could bench press frickin' 3 times a week. And then you could go chug 20 beers, sleep for 12 hours, and have zero stressors in your entire life and be ready to go on Monday to just repeat that entire process for years on end. And also, of course, can't forget the most important part, there were no aches and pains. And look, it's not a bad thing that you can't do that anymore. I mean, look, if you can, then I don't know why you're watching this video. You can just move on. But it's not a bad thing that you can't. Look, life catches up, and that's okay, right? We have two definites in this life, and that is taxes, and most people say death. But in this scenario, I'm going to say Father Time is undefeated. He's just going to catch up eventually when it comes to how much wear and tear we can put on our body. Now, real quick, before we go any further with this is not me saying make excuses or use your age as an excuse. If you're 40 years old and your back hurts when you tie your shoes, it is not because you're fucking 40 years old. It is because you are not prioritizing certain things. So I don't want you to be using your age as an excuse for not being active or not being able to do certain things. The whole idea that I'm trying to get across here is that you can still do everything that you would like to do. You can still work out hard. You can still lift heavy. You can still do your CrossFit classes and stuff like that. You just might have to adjust. All right, that's the key word here. I'm not telling you to stop doing anything. I'm telling you to potentially adjust and switch your focus to what you're doing, how much of it you're doing, and just start to see and be a little bit more mindful of what you can get away with or can't get away with, and how much of something you can or can't get away with. So let's just say heavy back squats hurt your back. We got to make some adjustments. Maybe you just adjust the load that you're doing. You can still do back squats, and maybe it's, hey, when I get to 275, it starts to hurt my back. Okay, maybe we do really, really solid reps at 225 or 185, or really get low and focus on mobility with 135. You can still do your back squats. Or maybe if back squatting is not super important for you and it hurts and you don't care that much for it, but you just want to work your legs and you're like, hey, I know squatting is good. Maybe you can switch to a kettlebell goblet squat or a double kettlebell front rack squat. That is another really good option. You're going to be working your legs and you're going to be getting a lot of other benefits. Or if you need to, you can do lunges, reverse lunges, or split squats or something like that if being in a staggered stance is a little bit more comfortable. So again, I'm not saying go throw away back squats. You just might need to adjust the load that you're doing. And if back squats aren't a huge deal, then there's something else you can do. Another example would be, let's say you're feeling beat up from smashing across a workout 5 times a week. Maybe you go 4 times a week and you focus a little bit more on recovery on that day you don't go, or maybe you just pull back the intensity on that one day. And maybe you do a little bit more of a bodybuilding split, or you do some kettlebell work or something like that. Or something that I see, and this is a personal problem that I run into, is stop treating every fucking workout like it's Game 7 of the World Series. Now, CrossFit is great at this because it creates that competitive edge, and it makes certain people who aren't as competitive push a little bit more, and it does a really good job of like pushing people who might not normally be competitive against each other or competing against each other, push in a workout and want to beat each other. But there are certain personalities, AKA me, and a good chance you, that it doesn't matter. They are going to smash their head against the wall at 10,000% intensity when they are in a group setting. If that is you, try to pull back a little bit. This is actually one of the reasons I like to work out alone, is it pulls me back. If I worked out in a CrossFit setting, and this isn't specific to CrossFit, they're just really good at bringing out the intensity in people, which is a good thing. But if I worked out with a bunch of friends who like to get after it every single day, I'd be in a fucking grave by now. So that's a personality trait. It might be for you. You don't need to go at 10,000% every single workout. And if you are someone who can't help that, maybe you just take one of those days and go do something else. Now let's talk about feeling a little stiff and achy. If that's you, maybe you should stop doing a bodybuilding split. Or maybe add in just a little bit more functional training. Or here's the thought. Hear me out on this one. I know this is a little crazy, might not make that much sense. What you could try and do is spend more than 4 minutes every single year stretching and mobilizing. Stop pretending that you're 17 and you can get away with not stretching ever. You need to take care of yourself and you need to focus on your mobility just a little bit more. Look, trust me when I say I get it. Training hard and pushing yourself is fun as hell, and it is still possible. That is the whole concept of this video. But it has to be done in a way that is sustainable to where you and your body are at now. And that's one of the main reasons I personally like to use kettlebells, is because they allow me to work hard and push myself with much less damage and risk of injury on my body compared to when I was clanging and banging barbells. Now, again, real quick, I don't want to say that barbells are dangerous. They just lead to a little bit more intense training. And if you have some sort of old injury or imbalance, they'll probably bring it out a little bit more. Kettlebells allow me to press more comfortably because my shoulders are a little funky. They allow me to do some single-sided stuff because sometimes my back is weird, and so on. So that's a big reason why I like to do kettlebells. And a reason that I think a lot of guys specifically, because that's mainly who I talk to, but people in their 40 plus years have seen such great success with kettlebells. They allow you to still push hard because I like to do it. I like to train hard. There's a good chance you do too, but they're just less taxing and going to inflict less damage. Look, damage is at the end of the day is what we're doing when we work out. They're going to put more less damage on the body and allow you to recover a little bit better and feel better. Now, look, on top of that, I also take days off when it's necessary, and I adjust my intensity when I'm tired, and I heavily focus on mobilities. Those 3 things are super important, and I know they're not the sexiest things in the world, but I have no problem being like, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not going to work out, or I'll completely change the intensity of my workout, or I'll change what I'm doing for my workout and make it just a little bit more of a mobility-based workout. I have no problem doing those. It is a difficult thing to get into your mind if you're used to just kind of get into the gym, smash it hard, and leave. But if you're someone like me who has dealt with debilitating back pain in the past, there is nothing that feels worse than that. At 31 years old, in the best shape of my life, there's been times where I have tweaked my back to the point where tying my shoes made me want to throw up. And fuck that. I don't like that. That's why I spent so much time on my mobility. It's why I spent so much time being more functional, and why I'm smart now with my intensity and what I do in my workouts, because I don't want to feel like that ever. And I know you don't either. Look, the gym and your fitness is important, but you can't be walking around struggling to tie your shoes and barely able to keep up with your kids because you want to train like a college athlete again. So if that sounds like you, I encourage you, please make a shift, change something up. Like I said, this is not me saying you need to do this instead of that. You can still do the things that you like to do. You just need to make some adjustments, and it's usually in intensity. Sometimes it's adjusting an exercise that you prioritize, not saying you can't do one. And then, of course, putting a little bit more emphasis on your recovery, stretching, and mobility. Those are the things that are going to allow you to continue to train hard. For all of my people out there that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s and so on, I'm sorry, but we're not 21-year-old college kids anymore who can just clang and bang all day long, eat as much food as they want, and sleep for 12 hours every day. That's just not where we're at anymore. Now, if you like everything that I just talked about and you want to make some adjustments but don't know how to do it, let me do it for you. Go ahead and click the link in my description below, and you can get 75% off your first 4 weeks of functional strength, conditioning, and mobility training. 40 minutes a day, 4 times a week is all you need, and you can do it at home. All right? Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate you. If you like this type of content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.